We've packed up 2 houses in 2 massive weekends. We've literally emptied our holiday house, given away or disposed of all of the belongings, but a few sneaky belongings made their way back here.
We upgraded our couch and our foot, so we still have ugly curtains.
They'll go one day. We have sold, given away and plan to throw away the entire contents of not only the holiday house, but our house too. Have a look at this, an entire 7x4 trailer full of stuff that I reckon I've moved at least 3 times in the last 5 years as we moved houses all around Victoria.
The next big job is packing up our house. We literally have to empty out everything, ready for someone else to move in while we're away on our big lap of Australia.
Welcome to episode 6, which is the first time the episode number has surpassed the number of weeks left on our trip for our big lap of Australia. Just 5 weeks to go until we head off. This week's episode, we've got to get the house empty, organise it for rent, organise mail redirection, and also look at some of the things we need to do to get our house ready to store our belongings for the long term while we're away.
We've moved house 3 times in the last 5 years. We've also helped family and friends move house, and now we're packing up our belongings ready for storage. I think it's fair to say we're experts at moving.
If you've been following along in our previous episodes, Steph's been super keen to get to this week. We've had a massive 5 weeks. This episode, this week, is all about packing up the house, getting all of our belongings inside the garage and the front office, ready for our big lap of Australia. We're going to rent the house out for 12 months while we go on our lap around Australia. So today's episode, we're going to show you our top 10 tips for getting your house ready to move, to store, whatever you need to do to get ready for your big trip away.
Tip 1. The first thing is that we tend to store things that we don't necessarily need or want anymore. This is a system that I actually have going year round, but it's particularly useful in the lead up to packing up your house. So I've got 3 boxes, and these ones leave just here in our kitchen area. This one here is for anything that needs to be returned to other people. Saves it sitting up on a bench somewhere. This one here is for anything that needs to go to the op shop, and the 3rd tub is for anything that can go into storage that we're needing to keep but not necessarily use right now.
You need to be ruthless. If you don't think you're going to use it or might not use it ever again, get rid of it. We've thrown a lot of stuff out, but as Steph said, a lot of stuff's going to the op shop, back to other people. Just get rid of it.
Tip number 2. Get the best quality storage boxes and crates that you can. They're going to be stored long term, and it's great to have ones that are strong. Also get creative with things that you've already got around the house. Bags that you might not be taking with you, use those for storage. They're brilliant.
Get creative with your storage. We've got my office here where I work from normally, and we're going to use this to store all of our soft things. So a lot of our clothes, soft furnishings, mattresses, etc. Next door, let's take a look. This is where we have our garage, and inside we've got racking. I usually have my workshop table here. We're going to store everything up on these shelves all the way at the back, and we've even got a mezzanine level. Steph's going to show you where we're going to keep everything upstairs above the office.
I'm up in the roof here, and we've used plastic tubs to store all of our belongings, a mix of books, clothes, linen, that sort of thing, and it's fairly well stacked up here, ready for when we come back. Because it's inside above the garage and the garage won't really be used, it shouldn't be too dusty up here either. We've just thrown a few of these rat baits around the place. Hopefully to deter the rats, get rid of them. Hey.
Think about the big stuff. You're going to have couches, beds, you're going to have like big footstools, kitchen tables, dining room. All those things, how are you going to fit them inside your space? If you can have a plan up front, you can work out where everything goes and start to load it in accordingly.
Make sure you employ your minions too. They can do anything. Get them to help with their bedrooms first, and then the other parts of the house. Is Terry coming?
Yes.
Hey boys, what are you doing?
We're cleaning out Jed's room.
That's pretty messy. What happened in here, Jed?
We're packing everything up.
Wowee. And what's that box over there for on your seat?
That's the box of things we're going to be taking around Australia with us.
Just that box.
That's it.
That's it. Cool. This is the part that mums love. Get on top of your toys and your books. There'll be stacks that your kids have outgrown. Hopefully they won't find too many that they rediscover and play with again. Send them off to the op shop, find someone else who like to use them. You might have noticed in previous episodes that our kids love Lego.
Perhaps one of our biggest jobs is packing up the Lego city. As you can see, it's all been smashed down, and they're currently going through it all to work out which are sets, how much we want to take with us when we go away. And there's a heap. How much Lego do you have, Harry?
More than 10,000.
I reckon you might be right. Get on top of the outside too. There's a lot of maintenance and things that you need to get done so it's ready for a tenant. Once you get all the gardening done, get all the maintenance jobs done, then your tenants are going to love it and it's going to cause you less problems in the future.
Be creative when you're packing. Use things like pillow slips, tea towels, towels and blankets to wrap up the things that might break and pop them inside suitcases to keep them safe. Pack up all your kitchen contents into small containers so they're ready to go straight into the van. I picked up these from Woolworths when they're half price. Grab a stack, you'll need a lot, and then they can go straight into your van.
Don't pack everything up until you need to. You still got to live. We've got 5 weeks left to go, so we've left out a lot of big things like this couch, and at the last minute we'll pack them away before we go away. What's important is you get the house empty well in advance of your tenants arriving, but that doesn't mean you have to do it now. A few days will give you plenty of time to do the cleaning and organisation you need, ready for your tenants to come in a few days' time. So that's it. It's been a couple of weekends getting the house ready, as well as a lot of late nights as well. But we're pretty much on top of getting the house set to go around our lap around Australia.
When it comes to renting out your house, there's a few options. You can do a private rental, an agent rental, or a short stay, whether it be privately or through an agent. We have experience with short stay rentals ourselves. The house that we sold to finance this trip was a short stay rental, and we were really comfortable renting that out with all of the contents.
But where we live in the southeastern suburbs, it's not really the right property for a short stay rental. We'd be pretty lucky to get ongoing tenants, so a permanent rental's for us. We're pretty open to the idea of managing it ourselves because of our experience previously. In fact, we'd even rented this house out prior to moving into it when we first bought it because we just weren't ready and we're already living in a rental over the other side of the city.
Now that we've got the house almost ready to move out and we're almost at that point, let's talk about mail. Over the last few months, we've been making lots of phone calls to change over our mail to digital where possible, get them emailed through to you. That way you can get them while you're on the go. A lot of them prefer
to do it too. On all the letters it says switch over to digital. You just got to be disciplined and do it.
I was sure I was going to win an iPad at some point because you'll notice lots of your bills these days, it's cheaper for them to email it to you and they're encouraging you to, and lots of them have competitions. Change over your mail, win an iPad. I was changing over that many different services that I was sure I was going to win an iPad.
Not yet.
But it hasn't happened.
You can redirect your mail for up to 12 months based on the names to anywhere you want to deliver it around Australia.
You can have it redirected to a post office box or to a family or friend's house.
Another option is digital services, and this is something that we're thinking about doing seriously. You can rent a digital mailbox where your physical mail gets forwarded to, they scan it and email it out to you. So that means scanning the front of the envelope and then for a fee, every page within the envelope as well. The idea for us is we're going to redirect most of our stuff to email anyway, but anything that does slip through will get emailed to us, unless we can talk one of our family into receiving the mail for us in the short term. We'll see how we go.
Once you've got your mail redirection sorted, think about the services that you need to have disconnected prior to moving out. The few months prior, you can look at the services that you're paying for just to remind yourself about what you have connected, call them up and have your disconnection date set.
You can record all the mail you receive in the months leading up, make a list and use that when it comes time to disconnect. Some of your services you might be taking with you. We're thinking about taking Foxtel on the road. I know it's not camping, but I want to watch the AFL and I want to watch the NBA. We can discuss that in a later video, but also the internet as well. We might be transferring that over to a particular Telstra service as we travel. So all these things need to be thought about, and if you're packing up of your house ready for your trip.
Now for an extra bonus tip. Go through your house with a fresh set of eyes and record down any maintenance that needs doing. It might be that a kitchen door fell off a year ago and it needs replacing.
2 years.
2 years. Write down a list for hubby to get onto, give him the list and let him work through it so that those issues don't become a problem for a tenant.
The worst thing's going to be when you move away and then your tenants move in and things you've lived with for years are going to be major problems for your tenants, I guarantee you. Get on top of it now. We're going to be cleaning out our gutters, repairing broken doors, fixing bits of timber hanging off here, there, or wherever, and just getting it all Mickey Mouse ready for our tenants. Now, let's talk about next week's episode. We're about to enter into probably the most exciting phase of this whole trip. It's caravan time.
Our caravan is going to be built this week.
5 days' time.
It's going onto the line. It's starting with the chassis, and it will be built within 5 days.
So the way Jayco does it, they start with a chassis, and I imagine other manufacturers as well. They start with a chassis, roll out the floor, and literally build it from the inside out. The thing that we found most amazing is this process is just going to take 4 to 5 days before it goes through quality assurance and testing. So from Friday this week, a caravan is being built, and we're going to find out all about it as we go. And then by the first week of December at the latest, we're actually going to have a caravan to walk you through.
2 weeks later, we'll be living in it.
Stay tuned next week. We're going to tell you everything about it in the next episode. Episode 7, The Caravan.